to the music. Let's go. I'm your boy, Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. And welcome to another Caneswear sponsored edition of X's in a Row, the series where you ask the questions and we answer them to the best of our ability. And Caneswear, the everything store for everything Canes, check them out at their Davie store location or online. They'll hook you up. First question coming in strong. Polk Kane, I just drove by there. Is the offense being too predictable on short yardage downs, or is it bad play calling as to why they're not converting more frequently? I think if you're too predictable on short yardage plays, by default, it makes it bad play calling because you need to know your tendencies because you could potentially be setting up your team for failure. Let's go over to Florida State, and your eyes kind of don't deceive you because I think the biggest criticism is in short yardage situations, it's a lot of shotgun runs. Now, in defense of Miami, they're a shotgun team, just like so many other teams have gone around college football. So just simply coming under center doesn't necessarily change the fact that you're trying to run the ball. Yeah, there are other options when you're under center, but you got to look at some other parts to this. And did you know, this is 3rd and 3. 40.6% was Rhett Lashley's third down completion percentage last year, which was good for 8th in conference. This year, it's at 9th at the same 40.6%. So not really an improvement from last year to this year in terms of third down completion rates. And here you go. 3rd and 3. This is going to go down as a shotgun run. However, there was an RPO attached element to it. You see Xavier Restrepo. He's going to come on this slant underneath. I do see that a lot. There is some predictability. A slant attachment to an RPO run, it happens a lot. And in this case, they're going to go ahead and be real short. And if you've watched this team for a long extended period of a time, you know they're going to follow this up on 4th and short, probably with a run. So, yes, some predictability here. Just going to go ahead and do a simple lead. They ended up getting the first. You're sending a message to your team, though, right? We're going to put it on the backs of you. We're going to go ahead and run this ball. I personally would like to see a little bit more diversification on third down and short sets. I've asked for it repeatedly on the year in the third down conversions. And I know that deals with a lot more downs and distances, but the fact that you didn't improve from last year to this year makes a little bit of a case for that. Let's bow to the monarch, King Kane 13 at Kane Gang 1313. That's my favorite number. What has been the biggest tell for the opposing team when picking up the blitz? I feel like this year we have been unable to get home more often than not. Is it not having to dudes, or is it just that predictable? Where there are some times where there is some predictability, especially when you have a reputation to blitz. But let's talk about having the dudes. When you don't have the guys up front, you're forced to blitz more. And when teams know you're blitzing more, they can go ahead and prepare plays to kind of catch you. And we're going to show examples of that. But right now, the University of Miami doesn't have anybody in the top 10 in terms of sack total in the ACC. Zach McLeod's just out it with 4.5 sacks, but that's 10 games in. You don't have those dominant pass rushers up front. So it's forcing you to blitz more. And in this case, Miami does get home, okay, on this one. This is a 3rd and 1. They're trying to go ahead and run a shock play here on 3rd and 1. You're going to see Florida State, they're going to pull a lineman. This is straight pass pro. They're trying to sell something. You see Jordan Travis looking deep. However, this blitz with Corey Flagg gets home. But let's go to the Florida State game again, and you're going to see when you have the predictability, when you're known to have the reputation to blitz, teams can kind of, game plan around that. So right here, you have 3 tucked into the boundary in terms of defenders. So as a quarterback, I'm on alert. One of these guys can come on the blitz, and that's exactly what happens here. When this happens, Amari Carter comes in. Corey Flagg is now left to go ahead and defend the 3, and that's the running back coming out of the backfield, and that goes for an easy first down. Now go back the week before this as well to Georgia Tech. Again, here you have 3 side. There's 2 wide receivers for Georgia Tech. One's not pictured. They're going to rotate the motion out here. Corey Flagg's supposed to run with this, but here comes that blitz again. Another quick play back out to the flat. You got caught with a blitz in consecutive weeks coming from that side. Man, he's almost forced to blitz because he's not getting the pressure up front like he has the last couple years. And sometimes teams just catch him. Coco MN at Coco Hates Winter on Twitter. I have a cat named Coco. And not only does it hate winter, I think it hates life. Yes. What are our biggest holes to fill with the next recruiting class? That's an interesting question, the next recruiting class, because the holes perceivably that this team has, I don't think is going to get filled by the next recruiting class. I think it has to come through the portal. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because take a opponent we had earlier on in the year. Well, they weren't very good last year, and they changed the face of their program under Mel Tucker, and I'm talking about Michigan State. They took us down to the deep end, and we didn't recover. So I think you could fill some holes, but why it's not going to come from the recruiting class? Obviously, Blake James, the athletic director for the University of Miami, was just let go. And there's a lot of rumors that Manny Diaz is going to follow suit, and he's not going to be here next year. Now, regardless of true, rumor, not true, it's real easy to go ahead and recruit against this, and all the recruits who are considering Miami are being told by other coaches that Manny Diaz will not be here. So you have to kind of look for the portal next year. Now, what are the perceivable holes? Me personally, you need to upgrade at the linebacker position, watching film from week to week. And, I do this for the fan as a fan, but it is something where the spotlight seems to find that group quite often. A lot of big plays are either happening because of not fitting or not having the foot speed to go ahead and, maintain your coverages. And I also think cornerback as well. Cornerback is something you're going to have to address. You haven't recruited that position well at all over the last few years. You got some youth and inexperience, so just like Tyreek Stevenson came in via the portal last year and really solidified that group, just try to think if he wasn't here what that back end would look like. So defensively, those are the two big areas, and if you can find somebody on your roster in total that is better than who's on it currently, then you have to go ahead and consider it. Hey, look, it's AA Ron Lewis again at Aaron SW15. I love Rooster. He's an animal. But would Miami's run game benefit from running Thad more with a thunder and lightning type combination? I'm glad you brought up thunder and lightning. First of all, if you have multiple running backs who are very, very good and efficient, and you can kind of carve out a niche market for each one of them, plays that they like to run that maybe they're a little bit better versus the next guy, I'm all in favor for. However, I took a little bit of flack on the Orange Bowl Boys podcast earlier in the year when I said that the Rooster, and this is after knowing that Don Chaney was going down with an injury, should be the premier bell cow back. Because thunder and lightning, well, I think this kind of wraps up the Rooster, and you called him an animal. That is thunder and lightning wrapped up into one. A single angle route out of the backfield, 2nd and 18, bang. I just think he's a special kid. I'm in favor for getting more running backs on the field, but it comes at a risk. And the risk is the more you add somebody else, the more plays like that might not happen. Addicted to Iron at Tailored_Hefe. Other than the staff upgrades, what other upgrades around the program should we expect in regards to the university's commitment to investing more next season or long term? Well, I don't know what we should expect, but I'll let you know what's on Ro's wish list. Number 1, more analysts. This is a technical savvy war zone style of game where the smallest little details can be the difference between winning and losing. I'd like to know my tendencies. I'd like to know the other team's tendencies. I'd like to exploit a mismatch if I can. And I think that's the approach moving forward that can benefit them long term. Number 2, I think you need to bolster your recruiting department. Yes, you have the benefit of being in Miami, where you can basically trip over a blue star recruit. However, you need to have a style and a system where you have multiple people who are alerted when other teams around the area are getting offers, so you're not late to the party. And lastly, I think what could benefit the University of Miami long term is your player evaluation department needs to be bolstered. You need to go ahead and have a perfect set of eyes, cross T's and dot I's. Because when you go out routinely and you make the decision that this is going to be my starting 11, we've seen examples where that changes rather quickly. And somebody else behind them, you would like to make those decisions early to give yourself the best chance of success. Now, I'm not asking for the 2001 talent now, but the fact of the matter remains, you can get some NFL-style guys on this roster, and I think currently they're missing more than they're hitting. But I appreciate the question. Future Bass Pro at Tuck79 FSH1. The pass rush from Johnson, that's Jermaine Johnson, Saturday was brutal. What could Red have done to slow down the rush and even eliminate Johnson from making plays? The short answer, I don't think you can ever fully eliminate a playmaker from making plays, especially when he's destined to shine like Jermaine did against the University of Miami on Saturday. But let's go over to the film, shall we? Let's just watch his highlight package. On this, University of Miami knows who he is. Rhett, they're going out here. They're actually chipping him. Just something happens. Rooster whiffs on the block, on the chip block, Too physical for your right tackle. Strip sack fumble. That's unfortunate. Now you go ahead and you fast forward on this play, and you're going to see the decision to leave him unchecked. Okay, you do that some teams because you're expecting the speed element of your wide receiver coming across the formation to beat that. However, I think they've seen this play before. He had to scout it out, especially when they had number 12 in the backfield. So maybe that's something tendency that you can avoid. That's on this play. We'll fast forward. This straight coverage sack. Nothing Rhett could have done there. Zion Nelson's doing a really, really good job. This is 3rd and 15. You're hoping the ball is out. Tyler obviously tries to run away from this, runs himself into a sack. That's a coverage sack. He was the beneficiary. You keep going. We're going to show you a couple more plays. Obviously, he blows this up in the backfield. You down taunt. Yeah, the you down taunt should be penalty because everybody does it. Not because I don't believe you should taunt the other team, but it's just old. All right, and in this one, 1st and 10, your right tackle's played solid on the year. He really has. He's graded out the highest in terms of PFF. This was just a tough assignment, and, this is just technique, right? You're entrusting your right tackle in this case. All the other examples you kind of saw when they left him untouched. You saw a chip block on him. It was a coverage sack. This is when it gets bad. Just kind of loses his footing, gets cross-footed, loses his bend, and he just simply gets beat on the play. Goes into a sack. Good game for that young man. Rhett Lashley, I think, had an idea who he was. Just when it mattered, their playmaker made a play. And this is going to be the final question of the evening. And before we get there, once again, special shout out to Caneswear, proud supporter of your boy and X's and Ro. Thank you, gentlemen. I couldn't do it without you. But this is Matt Steersman at MB Steersman online Twitter. Can we say definitively Mario is the guy? If we want a nationwide search, why are 99% of the people screaming for him? Can we judge him at all based on his FIU stint? Well, Matt, you can never really say anybody is definitively the guy. There's always going to be some question marks out there, no matter who you hire. But why are 99% of the people calling for him? Well, you got to see Miami's track record and its propensity to go in a 180 to get this. Go back to the Larry Coker era. Obviously, he won a national championship, the last one in 2001. When that era went south, they decided to keep it in-house with Randy Shannon. So now at the end of that era, this is when the 180 phenomenon starts to happen. They wanted to go outside the program. They wanted fresh blood. So they brought in a mid-major coach and Al Golden, and we know the results. So then what happened next? Well, they got somebody with ties once again to the program, and he had big-time experience. Now, the 180 happened again. A rushed hire, Manny Diaz, a mid-major coach from Temple, irony there, to come back. So now, here you are again. And I have this feeling they're going to look at somebody with a lot of track record and experience. The FIU stint, well, I'm more of the variety, what have you done for me lately? The University of Miami has never won an ACC championship. I'm going to repeat that again. The University of Miami has never won an ACC championship. You know who's won a couple Pac-12 championships? Yeah, that guy. Also, the offensive line has kind of stumbled over the years. Go back 3 years under the Dan Enos era, and you have some problems there, right? You almost led the nation in sacks. You know who's really good with offensive linemen? This guy. You know who's really good with recruits and recruiting? Top 5 at Oregon? This guy. A lot of the 180 boxes that can be checked are being checked by current Oregon coach Mario Cristobal, who also has ties to the program. A true alumnus, which, once again, is a complete 180 when you consider Manny Diaz. Well, he went to FSU.